Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, Cookie Creative. My name is Elena and I'm a part of the EA Creator Network. So today we're doing a speed build and I started this video months ago, got halfway through the voiceover and then stopped. So I'm going to let past me continue on, but I will be talking as if the For Rent expansion pack just came out. So then future me will pick up about halfway through and I'll see you then. This is the first house I'm building using the new For Rent expansion pack and I'm working on another one simultaneously, but it's much bigger, so I decided to finish this one first. I'm only using Island Living and For Rent to build this. It's on the 50 by 50 lot in Sulani, the one with the shipwreck on it. There are 3 houses and each house is its own unit. I've been wanting to build something like this for a while and I actually started building something like this on this lot and I was going to finish this for the new pack, but I decided to rebuild. All the homes were lined up in a row, one yellow, one blue, one pink, and when I started working on it, it just wasn't turning out the way I wanted it to, so I bulldozed that and I got this idea for a round driveway and having 2 houses on the end be in a diagonal, so it's kind of like feels kind of cozy that way. But building a diagonal is not easy, and don't get me wrong, I like a challenge, but it just would be a lot easier if the staircases could also be in a diagonal. But by doing this, each house has a more private backyard, and because they're all faced away from each other, and I wanted to give that to the Sims if I could. My idea for these homes was that the Sims could rent them out as their permanent residence, or they could even rent them out for just a season. Since with this new pack, your Sim will have a rental agreement and you can renew that agreement weekly, or as a landlord, you might be able to readjust that time. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm still getting used to this new pack. Anyway, during that time, you can either move out or renew your agreement. For me, I love the idea of moving my Sims family to Sulani for a winter or something like that. I like to keep things fresh. Also, before we get too far into this video, I do want to mention I am getting over bronchitis right now, and so my voice is a little weird, and I'm getting out of breath a lot faster than I usually do. I talk kind of fast, and that's not me trying to talk fast, it's just me and how I talk. So I keep finding myself getting out of breath because I can't breathe out of my nose right now. At least I'm not coughing as much as I was. But anyway, let's keep talking about this build. So I wanted each house to be as identical as possible. So the center one is going to be straightforward. It's not a diagonal. Also, it's really hard for me to pronounce that word right now because I don't know. I'm just having a hard time talking. And so I had to do my best to try to mimic that house in a diagonal form. So it's not exactly perfect, but at least the 2 diagonals on the ends are identical with each other. Also, they have the same amount of tiles because when you rent something out, it does say how many tiles it is, and that does change the price of how much your Sim would pay rent there. The center one is the most expensive. It somehow ended up being like a couple tiles bigger, but I also made the center one just a little bit more upgraded because I imagined that house would be for the permanent residents that live there. I mean, this is just my imagination. You can do whatever you want with it. That's the great part about The Sims. You can do whatever you want with this house. But when I was making it, that's kind of what I had in mind. And each house also has a little bit different of a style. So the blue one, I wanted to be a tad bit more eclectic. Like, they are world travelers that like to collect really cool things in their travels. And the middle one is a little bit more of a traditional house. They have some upgrades, but they really love the color pink. It's very Barbie. But also, since I'm only using the 3 packs, it doesn't have a ton of items, so I had to get really creative with the pink house. And then the yellow house, I imagine it for being like maybe for older Sims. It's a tad bit more outdated, but like in a really cozy beach house grandma kind of way. And I personally really like that. When I was in my early mid-20s. My husband and I lived in a beach house in Long Beach Island. So that's New Jersey. It was really cute. It was just sort of we lived there for a season during the winter, well, fall, winter. And it had this like grandma core beach house feel, and it was really cozy. Like, it wasn't super modern or anything like that. And I just really liked it. So that's kind of what I was making when I was doing the yellow house. And the yellow house also sort of reminded me of what that one looked like, even though it was a bit more boxy, but whatever. This is a tad bit more islandy too. And I wanted to mix in well with Sulani. Sulani has a very specific style, and right here is me trying to fight that suburban look. I have been building so many suburban homes since Growing Together has come out, and I'm from America, so it's just what I see. I do live in the Caribbean, so I was trying to use some of that. But the thing about a lot of Caribbean builds are they are poured concrete cement to withstand hurricanes, and I still wanted this to be a wood frame kind of house. So yeah, that's kind of where my mind was going. So I added some of this like wood panel siding to just make it look a little bit more islandy rather than, like I said, suburban. And I wanted each house to, even though be identical, have something a little bit different about each one of them. Like I was saying, each one has their own style. So let me tell you a little bit about the build itself. So the whole thing cost 290,000 simoleons. There are a total of 7 beds and 9 bathrooms, but those bedrooms I did put like 2 beds in one of the bedrooms and bunk beds. And also I didn't clutter this up that much. My main goal here was to make it playable. And what I noticed about the new pack is that in game, or not gameplay, in build by, it's been very, very laggy. So I know they're going to patch that at some point because it's definitely not just like it's just a little laggy. Yeah, it's definitely a lot laggier. Only if you set the pack or the home lot type to rental residential or residential rental. If you just have it as residential while you're building, it really fixes the problem of the lag. But that being said, if you move into one of these houses and you're in build by mode, you might notice, oh my gosh, it's a little laggy. Don't worry about that. I mean, yes, worry about it, but I hope they will be fixing that soon. Sorry, my brain is it's a little tired today. So I have like 1,000 thoughts I want to talk to you about every single one of them. But what I did want to mention, what I was trying to get at is that I did not clutter them up like how I would usually. And yes, it's still fully decorated, also has a ton of, amenities. But my biggest thing, since this is a bigger lot, I really didn't want it to be laggy during gameplay. And I played around with this one for a bit afterward, just testing it out, play testing as I usually do. And I was not having any issue with the gameplay and the lag. So there's a lot I still haven't explored with the gameplay because I've been mostly just playing around with mold. And that wasn't my usual gameplay. I don't usually go around and trying to infect a whole neighborhood. That's only when I'm kind of curious and want to try something new. Usually I do just more of legacy family with a mix of a cult in there. Kind of love the storyline of a teenage son or daughter going off and becoming a werewolf without their parents' knowledge kind of storyline. So but I do want to move my family that I'm currently working on into this house for just a season or 2. I think that'll be kind of fun and something I've never really done before. And I build so often, and I rarely play in all my builds. Like, I will obviously play test, but I will not play in all of them. My recent family was playing in a house I built for the most recent pack. What was it? The Horse Ranch pack. And I really loved it. And it was so great to be able to play in my own thing, my own build. So I really want to play in this one. So for the landscaping, I used a lot of stuff from Island Living. This is before I got the For Rent pack, so you might be wondering, where is all the stuff from the For Rent pack? It's not here yet. It will get here when I'm done with the exterior. Don't worry. It's coming. But I used a lot of big rocks. I used the landscaping around to kind of inspire me. And I wanted there to be like a lot of big boulders, a lot of greenery, but I also wanted it to be like more manicured than if it were just growing in the wild. So yeah, I tried to make it look like lush, but not in a too overgrown way. And yeah, I usually go pretty hard with the landscaping. I've been trying to avoid using as many debug items as I can because I don't know if this is the issue, and please tell me if you know this or not, but my Sims will think the house is ugly. They'll get that like negative moodlet. I don't know if it's because they are seeing an unfinished house or if it is from the debug items. So I have been trying to use debug items. I'm also trying to figure out why they get that moodlet and how I avoid it, because I really don't like the idea of people downloading my houses and the Sims just like being in a bad mood all the time because it's not cute to them and whatever. So it's something I've been trying to work on. So also I made 2 community areas in this that you'll see in a little bit. I made a pool. I originally wanted to be a rounded pool, but we'll get to that. And also a bar grill area. And I wanted them to be very much like a community feel. So
your Sims can hang out there. And this is what I love about this new pack, is that I have so many families that I like to keep together, but like my Sim might have 3 kids, and then I want to continue playing the 3 kids and then their families, or at least keep tabs on them better, but I just get overwhelmed. And this is a way I could continue on being close to my family members. And yeah, so that's what I'm really, really excited about with this pack for the gameplay. Not everyone loves all the stuff yet, and there is a lot of glitches, but I'm not surprised, because that's always going to happen. And with such a big, I don't know what to say, like difference in coding or whatever you have to do, I'm not surprised that this pack is having the bugs that it's having right now. But I mean, The Sims is, I don't want to say fast on fixing these things, but I definitely know it's on the radar. So fingers crossed that any of the glitches that you've or I have been experiencing will be done. Until then, I am just going to be playing different kinds of storylines and avoiding any kind of issues. Like, one of the bugs I've been seeing is that some Sims can't pay their rent, or that their rent will go from, like, let's say $60 a week to $23 billion or $1 million a week. Like, I'm not sure what's causing that. I mean, as fascinating as video games are to me, I don't know how they work with coding. I know the general idea, but I have no idea how that would happen. But I think this is happening without mods and stuff too. So hopefully they'll fix that soon, because I cannot wait to be a tenant, or not a tenant, a landlord. I played a little bit as a landlord, but not enough. Just like read the new features and stuff. I'm planning on having like a really big play week at some point. That's where I completely zone out, don't do anything, and play for like 2-3 days straight. and I don't mean build, I mean play, like play my family. This is the pool that I have been working on, and I tried to make it circle at first, like I said, but I removed it was like a fountain that you can size up, and I thought it would look cool, but I kept zooming out, and it looked really bad. It was becoming chunky, I guess you could say, as I zoomed out, and I was like, I can't have that. So I decided to get rid of that and just do a regular old pool siding. I cannot wait until we can have curved pools. I don't know if they'll ever do that. Curved pools, spiral staircases, diagonal staircases. There's things on my wish list that, I mean, sure, I could probably get like mods and stuff, but I just want these things so any player can have them, kind of thing. And I like to upload to the gallery and say, yeah, this is available for PlayStation. Like, I get happy when I can provide something like that for all players. I don't know, I'm just rambling. But yes, as you can see, I'm continuing on making this very, very lush here. I wanted each space to feel like they are its own section. I'm using landscaping like walls, let's say. And one thing that's really helped me with landscaping over the years, and I don't think I'm like the best by any means, but one thing that has really helped me is creating spaces. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love a good open lawn. I think that looks great. I tend to stare at my builds too long to go minimalist, and I would love to be able to do more minimalist landscaping, because I don't think it looks bad at all. I think it looks great. But when I build, I always doubt myself. Like this, I'm like, I got to make this look a little bit better. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that to combat that like feeling of emptiness, I try to create spaces with landscaping. I might carve paths out with different terrain paint and trees and rocks, and I tend to stick with only a handful of different bushes and rocks, so it all kind of blends well with each other. And then that way, when I do a different build, I don't feel like I'm doing the same plants every single time. I mean, there are some of my go-tos, like the low-lying pale flowers that are base game. I think that's what they're called. My go-to every single build, I swear. I tell myself, don't use those flowers, don't use it, but I will. But at least with this one, I got to use those bougainvillea, and I love those. I think they're so pretty. And they come in a couple different swatches, 3 different: purple, this light pink, and then a more aggressive magenta pink. And yeah, I decided to go with like a light pink. I thought that matched with the pastel theme that I have going on here. Now I'm working on the backyards, and each backyard has something a little bit different about each of them. So the blue house, I put a hot tub, and I put that base game hot tub that we got for a birthday update thing. And It's something I don't use that often because it's kind of ugly. I don't want to say that, but just like it's hard to use since it has that roof on it. But anyway, the yellow house, I put a little garden, and then the pink house, I was going to put an art space, but then I ended up putting that in the front house or the front yard. So then I changed it to a telescope. And watch out with the telescope because your Sims can easily be hit by a meteor. That's happened to me in a save game that I really, really cared about. And my Sim's poor husband was taken while she was pregnant. And I tried like doing the ambrosia thing, but it just, my Sim ended up falling in love with another Sim by the time that she was trying to learn how to cook. So yeah, that was tragic, but it is also fun. I kind of like the element of danger in the game. So yeah, I always had a telescope, but watch out if you're a new player and you're like, oh, I'm not going to pay attention while I play and I'm going to look through the telescope. Watch out, your Sim, they might be taken from us too soon. We don't want that. So each of the backyards, I also added a lot of landscaping and those big boulders in between each of the houses to give them even more privacy. And, the Sims don't notice that kind of stuff. They don't think about their privacy. They really don't. I mean, unless if you walk in on them going to the bathroom or something. Other than that, they just don't really care. So we are in the house. I'm going to show you the floor plan. And I don't usually add this in my speed builds, but I thought, why not? This one didn't take me that long since the houses, as you can see, aren't very big. But first I did the regular house, the one in the middle, the one not on a diagonal, and I wanted to get the basic shape. And so I was going to try to copy this floor plan as close as I could, and I knew that the staircase was going to be the hardest part. So now I'm trying to figure out the diagonal. I switched this around a couple of times. This house, the blue house, is set up for 2 children downstairs, a teen, and then a couple or a parent Sim of some sort. It could also be good for roommates, especially with the teen bedrooms. I try to keep them a little bit more like, could be for a young adult kind of thing. And I copied the floor plan exactly from the blue house to the yellow house. So those diagonals are exactly the same. And the living room, I actually like how this turned out. I put a bathroom right in the middle, and I originally sunk the living room in. I ended up taking that out because I just didn't feel like this would have a sunken living room. I love using platforms, and sometimes I go a little bit overboard with the platforms. Like, how often are you going into people's houses and there's like platforms everywhere? You got to use them more sparingly. And I'm saying you as an Elena, me, I need to use them more sparingly. The downstairs for the diagonal house, the bathroom is a really, really weird shape, but it works. I had to play around with it a little bit, but I actually kind of like it. It's a little weird, a little wonky, but I mean, that's what you get when you build with a diagonal. Everything is play tested. So you're going to see a teeny tiny bathroom here. That little tiny space is supposed to be a bathroom. So I make it work. Don't worry. Each of the houses also have a very similar layout. Like I said before, but I didn't switch it up. I didn't put like the living room in a different spot. I put the living room all in the same spot, the kitchen. The only part that's different is this little bump out here where I put like the kids' room on this one. Another house, I believe it's the yellow house, can't remember, but I put a gym in that space. So what I like about this too, let's say you want to download this and move into it, you can kind of get an idea of like, let's say you don't have that many kids, you just want to change that bedroom into like a gym or something else, you can. Or if you want to change this gym to another bedroom, you could. So I just wanted to show that there's a couple different options with that extra space. I don't know how everyone else plays. I do like to play with a single Sim a lot. I think that's really fun. I like to be able to really focus on the one Sim at a time. But I mean, I always end up trying to carry on that legacy by having like a kid, and then sometimes I'm like, well, what if I had another one? And then by the time you know it, I have like a family of 5 and a tiny house, and I'm not prepared for it. So I did try to give, like, most of the houses I build have a second bedroom, even though I should build more single Sim houses because I like to play. But yeah, I just want to kind of, I mean, you could always use a bare bedroom, especially with growing together. There's the people coming to visit feature. I think it's a stayover. is what it's called. Yes. So you can invite people over, and if you have an extra bedroom, they can stay in there. And I also like having butlers. I don't hear a lot of people talking about butlers, but I get the perk, free services. I can't remember if that's like a base game perk you can get in the reward store for doing achievements, or if that comes with get famous. It could be both. Anyway, there is a way to get free services. When I get that, I get a butler because they take care of everything for me. And if you have kids, they take care of the kids. You don't even have to worry about a nanny, and you don't have to pay them. They just kind of like linger around the house. I usually give them like makeovers and have like a little side story of someone falling in love with a butler, because I just, so many different storylines, so little time to play. Sorry, I'm feeling silly today. Anyway, I'm working on the community areas, and this grill area, I redid it like 3 times, and this is the final one. I'm sorry I didn't show the other 2. I try not to edit too much out of this video. It is an hour-long video, so I don't know how many people are going to make it through all the way, but I'm trying to do my best here because I want to show what I did with these builds, but I don't want the videos to be too long to watch. But if you want shorter versions of this, you can check out my TikTok and Instagram, because I do post very short versions that are less than 3 minutes long. And I'll show you the whole build, or at least the whole exterior, and then in another video, the whole interior. So if this is far too long for you, don't worry. You can just check me out there. But I kind of like having like this longer version that you can watch. Before I tried making my YouTube videos as short as possible, like 10 minutes or less. But this build is just too big. And yeah, I could cut off this part where I'm putting rocks down, but I kind of like to show how I layer things. Like this usually doesn't take very long either. I just sort of set my camera in a good spot where I can kind of see everything at once and layer one thing at a time. Instead of like going, I used to do this. I used to go to a section at a time, do that, move to another section. But I find that it's a lot easier to like kind of get the whole idea. Like, for example, I'm working on the whole the whole pool area right now. So I'm kind of having a good view. I'm doing one kind of plant at a time, and I'm using the plants that I see around me to use. And funny enough, I kind of more or less recently found out, like within this year, that if you hold down shift as you place something, it will continue placing. So that has taken landscaping to the next level. I am able to do so much more. So here I'm making these shutters. These, I do this a lot. So it's so fast and easy, and I like the way it gives more of a 3D look to your house. And when a house is looking too plain to me, I go, I guess it needs some 3D shutters. So I put a wall down first, and then I take these blinds that are in the curtain section in decorations. These are base game, so they work for anyone. And I do use the tool mod sometimes. Like right now, because of the windows I'm using, I did use tool mod. But if it is placed, like the window is placed perfectly, like I was using Alt when placing the windows. So if you don't have to, oh my gosh, what am I saying? I am so sorry. If you place a window down on a square tile and then use the diagonal around it perfectly, and you just place your blinds there, you won't have any issues. You won't need to use tool mod. I'm sorry that I do use tool mod though. I sometimes feel guilty about it because like I feel I feel like some people get disappointed that I use tool mod or something like that. I don't know how to explain it. It's more of like people want to try to like recreate things that I built for their own, for their own self, for fun, which that more power to you. I would love people to try to recreate, have fun, whatever you want to do. I'm happy to help. But I think tool mod sometimes it becomes overwhelming when people see, and it's really hard to edit in videos because tool mod I've gotten a lot better of it over the years, but like it's still, it's very wild. Like I'll try 50 different things with the tool mod instead of me just placing something down and editing it. It's like 15 minutes of me typing in different numbers and moving things millimeters. So it just is, it's just time consuming in editing. So I do want to do a couple of houses that are move objects off and no mods, no cheats. I kind of think that'd be fun. I've done it before in the past. When I say that, I mean like one house I built a couple years ago with move objects off, and I thought it was fun. So, and I really don't think it would be hard to build like that. I actually think it would be easier to build with move objects off because I don't know how to explain this without, like, I'm not saying that it's easier to build with move objects off, but it's less creative. I don't want to say creative. There's less things you can do, so you don't have to even worry about it. So what I mean by that is when I have tool mod and move objects on and stuff, I feel obligated to create things with objects and turn them into something else. Like I'll make like a vase out of a pot and add some plants in there, or I'll create something with tool mod using different pieces of wood. And sometimes it's like, I just want to not try very hard right now. You know, you just want to like do something. I don't want to say it's easy because it's not easy building with move objects off, or it's always going to be a challenge, but I kind of like the simplicity. That's the right word. This is like a lovely simplicity. You don't have to think, you just turn your brain off and do it. And I feel like creating content for The Sims, and I always want to like push myself and do something really unique and different, and that just thinking of something sometimes is a lot of work. And like the other day, I'll just use an example. I made a little box to put blankets in with just planks of wood, and yeah, that doesn't sound like much, but something that takes up one tile took me like 15 minutes to make. So it just is very time consuming coming up with these ideas. But that being said, I absolutely love tool mod. I love move objects on. I love playing like that. For me, tool mod is like an essential cheat, or not cheat, sorry, a mod, an essential one. I always have it in my game. But yeah, same with better build by. But let me get back to this build. Okay, we're inside, and I am trying to figure out the floors for each. Each one has a different color floor. I believe these ones, let me check. This wood that I'm using in this house comes with the new for rent pack. Everything else, yes, it does. Everything else is, I believe, base game. This kitchen, oh my God. So I do love the way this one turned out. I think the blue might be my favorite house out of all these. Like if I move my Sims in here, I probably would move them into the blue house. But all of the tile that comes with the new for rent pack is like my favorite thing. Like I've been wanting tile like this for so long. I've been using the one tile that comes with the vampires pack as a tile that kind of looks like this, but the ones that come with the vampire pack, it's just a little bit more dated, a little bit more like Victorian house. And all of the ones that come with this new for rent pack are a bit more like Spanish style, or like what you're seeing now in homes, like this fancy tile. And sure, one day this tile is probably going to be like super outdated. It's going to be the new millennial gray or something. But right now I'm obsessed with it. So I really want a bathroom. Like in my old apartment, the one that I had before this one, I wanted to get that kind of floor, like a black and white fun tile like that flooring, but I never ended up doing that. I did, however, upgrade the shower though, so good for us. So this is the tiny bathroom. I did use the squatty potty in this house, and I can't remember another house. I would have used it in all the houses, but like I was in autopilot and did not remember to put that kind of toilet. I just was like, toilet down, sink, blah, blah, blah. Especially bathrooms. I just kind of go into autopilot when I build them, but I do put time and energy into them. I want to make sure every room is at least sort of unique. And so like this is what I'm talking about with not overly cluttered. So the kitchen, I didn't want every single kitchen to have the same kind of clutter. So I used a little bit of different objects in each, but for the most part, I'd like copied every room in, like I said this before, each one is like the same style. Like I put a table there, and I did put like the same setup because it just was faster. I didn't have to think of a new way to do things. And so I I used some items from like base game here that I didn't think I was going to use, like those chairs. I've been trying to use items that, like recently, not just for this build, from like base game or any pack that I don't usually use that are cuter than I realized. Like those chairs are like kind of plain, no frills, like nothing special about them. So I don't use them that often. But then I realized that they match so perfectly with that blue floor that I have grown a whole new appreciation for those chairs. Recently, I haven't been really in the mood to decorate. I've been having more fun with the actual building aspect of homes, like doing the exterior, the landscaping, the floor plan. And then once I get to the interior and decorating, I kind of get a little overwhelmed because it takes a lot longer to make the progress in each room because there's such small little details like putting the cookie jar on the table. And I mean, I know I don't have to do that. And yes, I did not overclutter this build either, but it's just doing the interiors and decorating has just been a little bit harder than usual lately. It's just because I just haven't been in the mood. I go through phases, and I'm sure I'll be going through a decorating phase like in a couple of months. It just all happens on a rotating cycle. And yeah, right now I'm just not really into it. Right now, personally, I would love to just play. And I have made some like gameplay content, and I do want to do some more like gameplay tutorials and stuff like that and do like walkthroughs of certain features because I absolutely love the gameplay aspect, and I do try to do a little bit of everything when I play the game, not just building. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stop building. I'm going to still be primarily a builder and do building content, but I want to also dabble in the gameplay. I did recently do a post on TikTok and Instagram. Did not perform very well on TikTok, but Instagram it did pretty well, where I just played around with a new mold, and it was super fun making that video. It was just exciting to do something else, and I want to diversify the kind of content that I post, still keeping it all Sims related, but I just really like to explore and play around with different things, especially when I do something like a lot. So what I mean is like building, it takes hours and hours, and editing hours and hours, and when I have to do that, I don't have to do anything. I do this all for fun. But when I do that every single post, every single day, work on it a little bit, I kind of want to do something a little different. And I think making some other content like create a sim and gameplay along with building will help me feel inspired to make more builds. And also gameplay is one of the best ways that I can get ideas for builds coming up. Like, I really want to work on this one house for a sim family that I am currently playing. I want to make a no CC version and then within my own game add CC to it. Let me know if I should post some CC builds. I just don't know what to do. I know I could like have them available online to download. It's just, I have a problem just in my life when I feel like I'm wasting time, quote, quote. I only have so much energy and I want to spend it wisely. And sometimes I think I don't want to use CC because I feel like I'm wasting time when I could be building a no CC home that I can upload to the gallery. And that's just a silly way of thinking. I know I do want to post more custom content stuff because I am a big fan of a lot of the custom content that I have. I think it's great. And honestly, that's another problem that I have. I have so many ideas and not enough time to execute all the ideas, but then I tell the world that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like I'm working on this thing. And yeah, I might have started some things, but like the amount of stuff that actually makes it all the way through to the finish line are about like, I would say about 10% of my ideas. And I would really like to get that number up to 25% of the time I finish my ideas. So in 2024, I'm going to do I'm going to do a little rebrand and get a new profile picture. I already know where I'm going to stand for it. It's going to be me and my dog out by some palm fronds. I want to lean more into a Caribbean look because my last little rebrand was when I lived in a town outside of Chicago, and it was very like, you know, that kind of style, a little bit more city and a little bit more of like fall colors. But I really want to lean into those bright, fun colors and a lot of tropical plants, stuff like that, because I just really like that aesthetic. And that's definitely like in real life, I dress like a bit more of like I don't want to say surf girl. That's not the right word. I do skimboard, but I don't know how to surf. I am going to eventually take some surfing lessons soon, but I don't know how to surf yet, but I do skimboard. I love the beach. I love beachy clothes. I love comfy clothes. I love flip-flops. That's the kind of person I am. And yes, it's the winter time, and I still haven't built something that's for winter. I've been wanting to, and it's on my list of things to do. But before I do that, I have a build in Oasis Springs that I'm finishing. Again, not a winter world at all. But after that, I'm going to do a couple of really fun festive ones. I say festive ones, probably one festive one, and I'll probably do a couple like in January where I can build in snow. Because I don't really build in the snow that often. It's so hard to landscape when there's snow on the ground. So I usually build the house in the summer or without snow, and then I change the weather or the season after I'm done and then take pictures then. Because I want my builds to look good all year round. I don't want it to just look good in the winter, and then when the snow melts, it's like, oh, so the floor has nothing on it. But I mean, I could actually work on a couple of apartments for the winter. That could be kind of fun. Oh, wait, I want the snow to be obvious, though. So we'll see what happens. I'm sorry. I'm just spitballing here. I'm outwardly speaking of my ideas in my head. Anyway, so I am working on a couple of more Christmassy / winter builds, but not this one. This is not it. Sorry, guys. I did do a couple of years ago this like holiday and Sulani build, and I thought that turned out really cute. Like I had a little Christmas tree or a Winterfest tree. I don't know what they call it. I can't remember if like the description says something different, but a little festive tree and stuff like that, because I mean, that's what we do here. Celebrate the holidays in the sunshine.
Hi, future Elena is back. I hope you've been enjoying the voiceover so far, the video. I hope you've been enjoying the build. So yes, I am back, and I did not watch and listen to everything I just said. I will try not to repeat myself, but I am just guessing. Going in the dark because that was months ago. As you can hear, my bronchitis has fully healed. That is great because I hate getting bronchitis. So we are in the bedroom upstairs, and this one is in the blue house. Yes, the blue house, of course. That's where we are. And I use that gray wallpaper and a lot of gray in there. So it's more of like touches of blue in that room. And then this is the primary bedroom in the blue house, where obviously I still used a lot of blue. And I just wanted it to feel really cozy. It's kind of a big, long space, so I tried to make it not feel so long by breaking up into little sections. There's a little wardrobe area where the Sims can try on their clothes, sit down, put their shoes on, get ready for the day. I've always wanted an area like this. I feel like it just kind of helps you get a full body outfit together. You can see the whole outfit in a long mirror. Currently, I don't have anything like that in my house, but we are going to be hopefully doing a lot of decorating this year when I get back from my trip with my family, and we will be redecorating. I shouldn't even say redecorating. I should just say decorating in general, because it's just been a blank canvas and we just hadn't had time to like put together an idea, a look. So also for the bedroom, because of the diagonal staircase, there has to be like this weird bump out, but I tried to incorporate the little bump out by, not incorporate, but kind of make that diagonal wall almost close in the wardrobe area a little bit more. So hopefully that's what that looks like, and not just like, oh, she had no place to put the stairs. So there's going to be this weird bump out in the bedroom. No, it's a feature. It gives the house a little bit more character. Now, looking at these houses now, they really don't look very islandy. They're a little bit more suburban shape. But I did try to kind of marry the two styles, like suburban beach house and like, not Caribbean, but this is like island. Island living is a little bit more of like Hawaii and Polynesian islands, and like where I live in the Caribbean, it's very similar, but it's definitely different. I would love to see like a Caribbean based world, but I mean, I doubt we will see that, because I mean, well, then again, I don't know how long the Sims 4 plans on continuing, and they come up with all sorts of pack ideas, things I never thought they would think of. Some ideas that I love, some ideas that I'm like, I could live without that, but cool, new content's awesome. One thing I have been patiently waiting for is fairies. I can have a fairy that lives in every world. I love occult sims. I think they're really fun to play. I think I just love like the skill tree. It just gives me some extra things. Like playing humans is kind of boring. Like usually if I play a human, their dream is to either marry a occult sim or like become an occult sim. So it all ends up leading back to occult. Or I'll be like, this sim wants to be human and rejects the occult. Like it's usually some sort of thing, some sort of theme in my playthroughs. Currently I am playing a human, but I'm trying to figure out who the baby daddy will be. I just started a new game, new save. I don't know if I should go with a werewolf this time because it's been a while since I've played a werewolf. So I'm also copying all these things from one room and placing them in the other. Some of the rooms I actually copied and pasted them, but some of the rooms, because of the shape that they were, I wasn't able to fully copy and paste them. So I kind of had to play around a little bit, but for the most part, I was able to copy and paste rooms. It just saves me so much time. I do it as much as I can. I will copy a room, and then sometimes I shuffle the items around a little bit more, but for these houses, I kind of wanted them to be very similar. Just thought that'd be fun. But the layouts are a little bit different. One of the houses, I think, doesn't even have like a second bedroom. I built it, I should know, but it's been a while since I've looked at these houses in detail. I do have this in my personal game, this little house, and I moved a townie in there. I like to make townies and move them into my neighborhood when I start a new save file. I get kind of bored of all the like in-game ones. You know, when you start a new save and like everything is fresh, all the townies are there, you know and you love, but you're just like, all right, I've played with you guys like so often, let's throw in like 100 more townies to kind of shake things up. So I have lots and lots and lots of townies that I save to my library. Anytime I update one, I just save that sim to my library. When I start a new game, I just place them all down. This is the yellow house living room. I used a big bright yellow accent wall, some chairs. I stuck with like wood chairs with yellow fabric cushions. They don't quite 100% match. Like the yellows are a little tiny bit off. Like the Love Seat is a little bit more of a highlighter yellow, while the other yellows are a little bit more mustard yellow. And does that bother me? A little bit, yes. But I didn't have any options because I'm only using Island Living and for rent. So I did what I could. If you want to replace those, you totally can. But there is something kind of nice about that mismatched look, because it kind of makes it feel a little more shabby chic. So we can also go with that also. The yellow is turned out to be I don't know which one was my favorite out of all the houses, but I do love each one for a different reason than the next kind of thing. Like each one has a little bit of a different personality. I think this one's a bit more of like the adventurer's home. It's a little bit more moody. There's dark wood floors instead of like these white light wood floors like the blue house has. Although I do love the blue house. The blue house might be my favorite. Oh, look, another copy and paste. So that's how easy it is if you want to just quickly renovate a house. So now I just kind of have to reorganize it. This part does take a little bit of time, but honestly, compared to having rebuild an entire kitchen again, it's much faster. I just have to pick the swatch that I feel like fits the house the best. And this one looks a little bit retro, like that tile looks a little retro. Kind of into it though. It kind of reminds me of my grandma's kitchen floor, which is totally retro, and I love it. I told her that retro's kind of coming back in, Grandma, so she's excited about that. Now I'm just like switching around all the swatches. It's so funny how how different a room can look when you change around the swatches, and it just transforms the look. It's just funny with like the blue rug still down, it just kind of looks wrong. And then once those swatches change, it looks right. You know what I'm saying? How color can make such a big difference. I've been wanting to do that build challenge where you set your computer to black and white and then try to build something, because I rely on color a lot and I would love to see how that would turn out. Like in my mind, I would think I could do a good job because I have a rough idea of what order the swatches are in, but I think when it comes down to it and I'm actually in the challenge, I won't remember, or I feel so confident, but I have a feeling it's going to be much harder than I think. So I definitely want to do that challenge. I want it to be like a 3-bedroom house, so that way it's a little bit bigger and I can really see how horrible it turns out. I want to give me as many opportunities to fail as possible. So now I'm adding some kids clutter because I feel like, is this the house? No, this is not the house of kids. This is the house where I have a little home gym. Instead of that being like sectioned off, I want it to be a little bit more open, but I still wanted it to be its own separate space. I mean, what better than a little workout room? It's super long. It's a little bit of an awkward shaped room. So it kind of worked with the layout with the long treadmill and then the weight machine also. And I add a little boombox, obviously, just in case they want to dance a little bit. I like to add like TVs, boomboxes, towels, that kind of stuff to my gyms, especially when I make home gyms. I feel like I've made so many home gyms that I'm always trying to think of some other way to do them. I mean, there's only so much you could do with a gym. I would love like a gym kit, like a home gym kit, maybe weights. I would even go for a stuff or game pack. I wouldn't want it to be a whole entire expansion pack. That's too much. No. I would like it to be, I think, a stuff or a kit where we have more gym equipment. There's just so much. I mean, I don't want just another treadmill. I want some clutter. Like the only thing I can put in my gyms right now are towels and hampers and a stereo. Like I need something else. I want it to look cool. I mean, I do also have the, like that, hold on, the fitness kit. Or not kit, the fitness stuff pack. I can't remember the name of that, but that comes with like the climbing wall, and it's not what I'm looking for. I don't need a hot tub and a climbing wall. I want just a weight rack. That's what I want. Just some gym clutter. So this is the pink house, and I love pink. Pink is such a pretty little color. So this house was just fun all around to build, and I think I built this a little after the Barbie movie came out, so I was feeling very pink at this time. I did a multiple pink builds, so this just felt like so natural. When I get into like a style or a color theme that I use like multiple times in a row, I just start to like go into autopilot with it. So that's how I was feeling with pink. And I'm not over my pink phase right now, but I'm feeling a lot of blues. It is spring, so pink, yellow, blue, pastels. But I did a lot of pink recently, so maybe a tiny little break from pink for a second before I get right back to it. This is also the same situation where the pinks sort of match, but not 100%. But this is a base game love seat with a island living couch. So when you can get those swatches from mixed packs to match, that's a win. That's just a win for me. Here I'm doing something a little extra that I shouldn't have spent so much time on. So I was trying to make like this little cloud wall item, and as you saw, I did clip out a second of it. Yeah, that's because I was fiddling with this for like 15 minutes. I want to be realistic. I want to say like an hour, but no, it was probably more like 10-15 minutes, which is way too long to spend on a single tile wall decor item. So was it worth it? No. But did it turn out kind of cute? Sort of. That's how a lot of stuff ends up being. I'm like, oh, I have this great idea, and I fiddle with it for like a half hour, and it's like, oh, this isn't going to work out. Let me just put a regular couch there instead. That's why when sometimes people are like, how long does it take you to build? And I'll be like, oh, this took me 8 hours. Like, where's that 8 hours? Do you want me to show you the footage of me trying every swatch? I don't feel like I'm alone in this. Actually, I feel like I'm in the majority in taking a while to build stuff. Some people are just really fast, and for them, good for you guys. Good for you. But sometimes I just like to try a ton of different things. This house also is the middle house, I believe. So this is the square house. I shouldn't say square. The other one's on a diagonal. This one is actually like just regular. So everything was placed really easily. When you're building a diagonal, things just are a little wonky. They don't line up, like cabinets in the kitchen. They don't really line up. So after doing 2 diagonal houses, I was kind of excited to be able to do something that was not on a diagonal again. So this kitchen ended up looking huge, even though it's like roughly, I tried making them all the same size. I think this middle house is slightly bigger just because it's, just because. But the kitchen, it just felt so much more spacious than the diagonal houses. And so I kind of consider this one to be the landlord house. Also, I can't stand the way the stair railing is clipping into the wall. I do apologize about that. I'm not sure if that glitch has been fixed or what. It happens to me and then it doesn't happen. So I'm not sure what causes it, and I'm sorry if it's really annoying you right now, like it's annoying me, but I think I was trying to cover up that spot with all these cabinets here. I'm like, ooh, you don't notice those stairs clipping through the wall. You just notice cabinets. Like, this is too many cabinets. What am I doing? And I usually clip out, I mean, I did clip out a lot of this, but sometimes just coming up with a kitchen layout just takes so long. I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing every single time. So I really do try to switch it up a little bit. This is a lot of black and white, so I threw in a little pink rug, but and also a pink table. I just want to do some pops of pink, but I really like how the pink pops against the black and white, so I thought that turned out pretty cute. I don't know if it's my favorite kitchen out of all 3. Then again, I don't have a favorite. I kind of like them all individually. I said this earlier. I can never pick favorites. It's just too hard. So, as I'm playing around with swatches, I'm feeling like the walls are looking a little plain. I have a really hard time with walls looking plain, even though I think it looks perfectly fine in real life, but for some reason in The Sims, it just needs something. So I put a little shelf here with some knickknacks, just a couple little random pink items, just thought it would look cute. So this also, I don't know if the pink kind of dresses down this kitchen a little bit, but I don't mind that since this is sort of a family house, and the black kitchen's nice, but I kind of like it to have a little bit more character, especially when there's kids around. It's like, just want some personality. So sometimes what I need to do, okay, let me back up. I'm trying to say 2 things at once. I was just scrolling through the catalog and pulling out different items that I want to use, and then I kind of redecorate them later, like place in the right spot as I go. So what I need to do, this is a trick. You guys can do it too. I want to create just like a 4x4 room, place all my favorite kitchen clutter items. You know, it doesn't have to be 4x4. Let it be 2x2. All my favorite kitchen clutter items in that. And then I'll do it like pack base. Maybe I'll upload this to the gallery also, so I can just take that from my library, place it down, and I have all my favorite kitchen clutter items right there, so I don't have to scroll through the catalog. The amount of time I've spent scrolling through not catalogs, but like Sims catalogs, it just, how many hours of my life have I spent? I don't even want to think about that. I have like almost, not almost 9,000 hours in The Sims 4, like 8,000 some hours in The Sims 4. So that's a lot of hours. Now I'm working on this little desk area. Every single house has a little office area so your sim can work from home. I love having a computer at the house. There's so many uses for computers, whether it be skills, talking to other sims, and I mean, just, I love having a computer. Every time I think my sims doesn't need one, I find myself having to go to like the library to use their computer. So it's just nice to have one. Also, I appreciate everyone that's made it this far through the video. Hi. Thanks for being here. So there's been a lot like going on in my personal life. I'm not going to get too deep right now, but I thought I would take this moment to share for the people that did make it all the way through. So I'm not home right now. I'm actually with my dad and my grandparents and family because my dad is going through cancer treatment. So I'm helping them out and all that stuff. So I've been away from home since March 3rd. So it's been a while, and that's another reason why I've been just not really paying attention as much to my social media stuff. And it's just, a lot on my mind. But things have been going really well, and I'm having a little bit more time and mental energy to focus on editing and filming and all that great stuff. So it's been anything. It's been a little outlet, but I'm not always in the best mood to do some voiceovers, but I've been feeling really positive. So I'm recording a ton of voiceovers right now, and it's been a good day. It's a little rainy out right now, but I don't care. It's like where I'm not usually, but I live in the Caribbean, but I am from Michigan, so I am in Michigan right now. And I came here early March, and it snowed a couple of times, and I know the snow. It's not like I've been living away for so long that I don't know what snow is, but I don't like the snow. I'm not a huge fan, but it was nice to see it a little bit. It is very pretty, and where my relatives live, it's out in the country, and it's really lovely, and there is space for me up here, and it's a different feel than the Caribbean, that's for sure, and it's a different pace, but I've been spending a lot of time with family also, so yeah, even though I haven't been posting as much, I'm still posting. I'm enjoying my time with my family and loved ones, so that's good. I think that's definitely worth it. I honestly have been having almost a healthier relationship with my accounts, and just putting things in perspective, sort of, just like what really matters, because this does matter to me. I love The Sims. I love my Sims account. I love the little brand that I've made. I love making these videos, but it got to the point where I had kind of forgotten my passion and love for it, and I was so focused on the numbers and producing content that I didn't slow down and appreciate all the work that I have done. And I'm going to start doing that a bit more. And when I need to take a day off, I'm just going to take a day off. Life is too short. Life is too short to work all the time. Because, I mean, what is my goal? Anyway, what is my goal? For people to watch my videos? People already do watch my videos. Even if it's only like 10 people. Doesn't matter. If those 10 people enjoyed it, then that's all that matters to me. So this pink bathroom, hey, let's get back to the build real quick. So this pink bathroom, I love the way this one turned out. I had this little corner tub in the corner. I put little pebble, instead of tile flooring, like pebble flooring underneath the tub. I love clawfoot tubs. I think they just look so regal, so pretty. So here I'm in the main bedroom. This one was so much easier to decorate because of the shape of it. It's not quite as long as the other main bedrooms in the other two houses, but the layout is just so much more, it just makes so much more sense like this. So I had a lot of rugs, as you can see. Just wanted to be really cozy in here. I like a little bit more pastel pink in this room. It's not very aggressive. I guess this whole house is very pastel pink, but I really like the pale pink in this room. We're getting near the end of the video. Wow. Thank you all so much for watching, listening, and maybe even leaving comments and letting me know what you think. I'm really bad with replying to YouTube comments, so if you leave a comment and you're like, why isn't she replying? Don't take it personally. It's just I assume people aren't going to be commenting, so I don't look. But maybe I should actually start replying a bit more, because I love seeing what people think. Like, YouTube just feels like a whole different beast to me than like Instagram or TikTok or something. So I finished up this build by adding names to each of the builds themselves. So one's a pink paradise, one's blue lagoon, and one is yellow something. I can't remember. I guess we'll see in a second. But I also added some of the details in the panel where you can manage your households for the new. I keep wanting to say, Hello Yellow is the yellow one, where you can manage the for rent. I want to say it's new because I was just listening to myself saying it's new. But the for rent pack is pretty fun. Tad bit glitchy sometimes, but overall, I think it's a really good addition to the game. I have been playing with it quite a bit. I use it for my big legacy families, have them all live next to each other. They visit each other all the time. Sometimes they come over because they're the landlord and they're like, I need a fixture, whatever. I'm like, okay, Grandpa. But I think it's still pretty fun. I also added different traits to the lots because I think this is a great way for gameplay. People that download it can change these lot traits to whatever they want. It's not something you need to cheat to change it. It's once you set it, it's not locked in place. So you can constantly change these around. I think they're very useful, especially for like if you have kids and you want them to do well in school. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, leave me a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you want to see more of my content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would very much appreciate it. But anyway, have a great day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!